Welcome back to The Haunted Beard, everybody. Thank you once again for joining me. So today I want to give you my review for New Life. This is a horror thriller film that just became available on demand. And this is one that has this sort of Jason Bourne type movie with a bit of a horror twist. So I got some thoughts about it. Let's get into it. New Life tells the story of a mysterious woman on the run and the resourceful fixer assigned to bring her in. Their two unique stories link as the stakes of the pursuit rise to apocalyptic proportions. And I have some real kind of mixed thoughts on New Life overall. This was kind of a weird one. The film starts off intriguing enough. We're introduced to this woman. She is on the run and is being chased and followed and tracked down. And like I said, this movie, it starts off in a very sort of Bourne type movie where, you know, you've got this woman, you don't really know who she is, what her backstory is, and she is being pursued by this, you know, intelligence type agency. They're trying to track her down. We don't exactly know why they're trying to track her down. Obviously, we eventually find out. But so it opens up with just this kind of mysterious element to it. And we don't know the context of anything, so we're kind of just in no man's land. But that was intriguing enough for me to be like, okay, you know, what's going on here? Who is this woman? What's all happening and everything like that. And the first half of the movie, it kind of gradually loses steam, where you're not really given hardly any information. There's not really any sort of reveals. There's nothing much that really happens in the first half of the movie. And so it kind of becomes a little bit boring and it kind of feels really inconsequential. So the first half really kind of lacks in any sort of thrills and any horror whatsoever. You get to about the halfway point, and that's when the horror element enters into the story. And I did not watch the trailer before watching this film. I, for the most part, avoid trailers. And so the reveal here, when it kind of shifted into a horror movie, was unexpected and surprising. You kind of figure out exactly what's going on. However, I watched the trailer after the movie, and the trailer basically spoils the sort of horror reveal, which to me is one of the main reasons why I don't watch trailers, because they suck and they give way too much away. But then also, if they're going to reveal that in the trailer, it makes the first half of the film even more inconsequential and unnecessary. And so to me, it's like, why not just start the film basically at that point and then move forward? And so it really just kind of eliminates the need for half of your movie, because we as an audience, especially if you've seen the trailer, already know where the film is headed. You already know kind of the big reveal. You're already a step ahead of the characters. And so it just puts you in this weird spot to where you're just sitting there waiting like, okay, when is the horror going to come in? Because I know what's coming. And so that was just kind of weird. Now, obviously, that wasn't reflective of my experience because I didn't see the trailer till after. But now knowing that, it's like, well, then that really makes the first half of the movie totally unnecessary. Now, another issue that I have with this movie is I feel like the entire situation could have been avoided if people would have just made just very sort of basic, you know, common sense type decisions to where They could have sat the girl down and been like, here's why we have you here. Here's what's going on. You know, this is why you're in this situation. And this is particularly a flashback scene that I'm telling about. And I'm trying to keep it vague because I don't want to give anything away. But instead, they don't do that. And she gets totally freaks out and goes on the run. And then that obviously starts the whole trajectory of the movie. But it's like, if you would have just done this and sat her down and explained to her why she's in this spot and what's going on, then you could have avoided everything. So that was kind of annoying. As I mentioned, this scene occurs during a flashback. There's a handful of flashbacks in this movie, and I'm of the opinion that for the most part, a lot of times flashbacks in movies, I think, are just an excuse to, you know, give us exposition. It's just kind of a lazy storytelling technique. I would just rather it's like have the film unfold organically. A lot of times they just feel unnecessary and forced, and it's just a means of giving us information. And that's kind of how they're used in this case. And so this is just kind of a weird movie overall, to where there are some elements here that are pretty good. There's a couple, like, you know, pretty effective horror scenes. There is, I appreciate kind of the the genre bending, almost this kind of concoction of different genres that they're trying to kind of work and fit together. And I do think the concept and the idea of the movie is pretty cool and interesting. And there is a good story here. It's just in large part how they execute it. I just kind of had too many issues with it. It just didn't really come together in a very satisfying way. There's not much else about the movie that really stands out in any sort of memorable or meaningful way. I have another issue with really just how the movie ends as well. And one of the characters, again, makes a decision that doesn't really make any sense. And I'm like, why are you doing this now that you know this information? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? What's the point of this? Why are you doing this? And so there's just kind of some stupid decision making and stuff like that. And so yeah, overall I can't really recommend this one. I just kind of had too many issues with it, and it just, like I said, didn't really come together in a very memorable or effective way for me. So I'm going to be at like a 4 out of 10 for this one, for New Life. And yeah, anyways, those are my thoughts. Hit me up down below. Let me know if you guys seen this, what your thoughts were. And yeah, like always, would love to hear from you. Always like hearing different opinions on things. Obviously, my opinion's not the right one. It's just mine. So let me know what you think down below if you saw New Life. That's all I got for you. Thank you so much again for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you got something out of this video, go ahead and do me a favor and do not click that subscribe button unless you want to be haunted by the beard.